So let's talk about the second time that me and you met, Jesus. Um, we both ended up going to community college right after high school. We both were at the same high school, but part of two different groups of friends. We knew of each other that we were up there. Granted, being related, we knew of each other, being the only visually impaired kids in the family since we were little. But me and Jesus got to high school, Curie High School. We knew that we were there, but I think we literally interacted like once or twice. It wasn't until a couple years later I ended up at Harold Washington right after high school. And there was this center called the Disability Center that helped everybody with a different type of disability. For me, it was getting anything in Braille, audio, and then getting people to help me read anything, any tests and all that. But you will have to like physically go into the center. This was back in 2017. Late 2017, you had to go in, and if you had like any materials that they were converting into Braille or audio, you would have to like sit in the little lobby and kind of wait there. So I remember, as far as I can remember, there was like a couple couches in the center, and I remember that there was two small little couches next to each other, little sofas. And I remember I sat down, and then a guy sat down next to me, and we started talking. Jesus, you kind of want to give a little bit of your day, that day?
So that day, I didn't really get any sleep the night before, and I was going into the office to get some paperwork, so I wasn't really paying attention to like the people around me that much. And also, it had been 3 years since we last talked to each other, so it had been a while.
Excuses.
Oh my goodness.
So the point of the story, fast forward like 10 minutes, and we're talking. I'm telling him, no, scratch what I said. I was actually in there preparing to take a test for astronomy. I was taking an astronomy class, and I remember you asked me, right, that what I was in there for, and I was telling you, like we were in prison.
Yeah.
And I was telling you the crime I committed.
Oh no.
And
what are you in here for?
And I remember we were talking about I think you started talking to me about astronomy too, right? I think you were.
Yeah, I was talking to you about like the stars and stuff like that.
And I think it wasn't until I asked you, I was like, "What's your name?" Right? And you were like, "Jesus." And then I don't know why. I think because of your voice finally clicked in, because I didn't recognize your voice. I was like, "What's your last name?" You're like, you told me your last name, and I was like, "Wait a minute, Jesus?" And you were like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Dude, it's Richie." And I think it still took you a couple of seconds to kind of comprehend who the Richie was, because you were like, oh, and we started laughing. I remember I told everybody in the center, I was like, oh my gosh, we're blind and stupid. It took us 10 minutes. Some of us took like 12 minutes after I introduced myself.
Hey. Listen, I had a long day. I wasn't paying attention. I didn't eat breakfast.
I feel we weren't on each other's minds. I think.
Yeah. It had been like 3 years.
I don't know how we missed each other, but maybe because someone didn't talk to me back in high school. Maybe that's why I didn't remember. I couldn't recognize.
Listen.
And clearly you couldn't recognize who Richie was.
I had your number. You had mine. I was told that you got robbed. That's why I didn't text you.
For 3 years, motherfucker. You didn't check up on me. I got kidnapped.
Listen. Where were you? All right.
3 years he was getting robbed.
Yeah, for 3 years he got kidnapped, and then I just find him.
He got robbed for 3 years.
He hadn't seen me for 3 years. I changed that much.
He was taller when I last saw you.
Sure. And see, when we were in high school, you weren't walking around with the cane, right?
No.
And then in Harold Washington, that's what I guess kind of threw me off. That I was like, okay, the Jesus I knew back in high school wasn't walking around like a blind ass, and now here he is sitting in front of me, and we're talking about astronomy. We don't know that we're talking to each other.
Astronomy of all things.
Dude, I hated that class. that class, bro.
God.
Why
I'm
would
gonna
you
have
take
to-
astronomy?
I had to. I needed the credits. All right, leave me the alone.
That makes sense.
If there was sex ed, I would have taken that class instead. But no, there
Oh
wasn't.
my
They offered
God.
everybody. Everybody.
Oh,